Well, hello, people. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to He Said, in an enlightened and engaging conversation, insights into dating, relationships, and marriage from a male's perspective. The men have something to say, ladies. I'm your host, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm your host, Angela Carr Patterson. A little bit about me: former entertainment executive, coach, motivational speaker, TV host, film producer, and author of 10 books. And you know me for my message of teaching women how to live the awakened life. That's a life with more meaning, more mastery, more money, and more magical love. I show up in people's lives when they're ready to make the shift. You're here because you're ready to make a shift from where you are to where you want to be. You know, I've always wanted to create a safe and sacred space whereby men and women could come together and have a conversation, because all change starts with a conversation, but not just any conversation, but a conversation that awakens your soul. Yet it appears that when we come together, men and women, the women take over the conversation and men are not heard. But today is different. We will hear from the men because they have something to say. And especially when it comes to relationships, dating, and marriage. Recent studies suggest that a collapse in marriage and resident fatherhood is widespread and is fueling what we call loneliness and the unraveling of Christianity in the U.S. A new research came out that said that 20 adults ages 25 to 54, 38% of them were unpartnered, and that is neither married nor living with a partner. And that men are now more likely than women to unpartner, which was not the case 30 years ago. And by the numbers over the last 50 years, the marriage rate in the U.S. has dropped nearly 60%. That's huge. I recently, on May the 2nd, our Surgeon General, U.S. Surgeon General Murthy, he released an advisory that said that there's an epidemic of loneliness and isolation, and it is affecting our country. And he said even the loneliness in the U.S. is doing the damage that cigarettes had on the society. So there's a lot to uncover here about when it comes to relationships. My question has been, how can 8 billion people say they want the same thing, and yet they find, which is to be loved and to love someone, and yet we find it difficult to make that happen? You know, I have my thoughts on that, but my thoughts are not that important today, because we want to hear from my distinguished panel of men whom I trust completely to share with you their thoughts and feelings. They would not be here. These men are like my brothers and my sons, and I trust them, and I know them, and I respect them totally, or they wouldn't be at a seat at my table. Not only do I trust them, my husband trusts them to protect me and to work with me. They range from late 30s to the late 60s. Some are married, some are divorced, some are single, and some are in relationships. And they have been told to share with you the truth, their truth. And oftentimes, truth doesn't make us feel good. Now, let me say something right here. These men, ladies, are not for sale. They're not here to be sold to you. Do not send them direct chat messages. They will tell me, okay? That is not what this is about. I'm telling you, that is not what this is about. Do not slip in there and send them a direct message, okay? So yes, they are handsome, and yes, they are real stand-up men and fathers and just all around good people, and I love them from my soul, and they know that. So that being said, let me introduce them to you. You ladies are still coming in. First, we have Mr. Gerard Hill. He is a U.S. Army National Guard full-time. He's married and has one beautiful daughter, and they have 2 humongous dogs. He is my amazing son-in-law. This young man has an old soul. He loves his wife and child. His dedication to helping other youth is remarkable. He's wise beyond years, and I'm honored to have him call me mom. Let's welcome Mr. Gerard Hill. Our next guest, our next panelist is Jamal Washington Jr. He's a successful entrepreneur and author who lives in Las Vegas, and he's originally from New York. He's married and have two wonderful children. He's the creator of the I Won't Starve movement, and I have recently adopted him as my son. And so we want to welcome Jamal Washington Jr. We call him Jay. Next, we have my brother, Mr. Ron Harvey. Ron is very dear to me. Ron was in my life during a time that I lost my mom, lost my brother. You know, we had Ron running to help with the services and things like that. But he's a great guy. He's retired military, a very successful entrepreneur and leader in our community. He's married and they have 3 children. Most people think he's my husband's brother because they look so much alike. And he's truly like a brother to me, and he's always there when I need him. Let's welcome Mr. Ron Harvey. The next brother is an amazing man. Attorney Kevin Kearse is a powerful attorney who has appeared as a legal expert on Geraldo, A Current Affairs, Australia, Sally Jesse Raphael, the Maury Povich Show, On Point, and Japanese and German talk show forums. He's smart. He has these witty things that he puts out on social media, but don't think this man is stupid, because he is not. Hey, that's just his little game that he's playing out there, but this dude is smart. He's also a martial arts expert. He's my brother from another mother. You want a man like Kevin in your corner. He's single and has a beautiful daughter who's an attorney and a handsome grandson whom he adores. One thing I love about his story, his parents were married for 70 years before one of them passed away. What a legacy. Let's welcome Kevin Kearse to the stage. Our next brother is Minister Reverend Andre Barnes. There's none like him. He's a minister of the gospel, but no run-of-the-mill preacher. Let me tell you, this brother breaks down the word like I've never heard it done. He makes it relevant like no other. I've never heard, seen, or witnessed anybody bring the word the way he does. We've served on several platforms and panels together, and he's the real truth. He's married, and they have 8 children. Let's welcome Minister Andre Barnes. Now, let me present to you David Drew. He lives in Atlanta. David is a decorated war hero, retired Army. He's an author, filmmaker, and he's been by my side on many projects over the years. He's part of our family. He knew my mom, my brother. He knows everybody, our children, and he's a wonderful friend. He's single and has 2 beautiful daughters. Let's welcome David Drew. Last but certainly not least, I think I've known him longer than anybody, well over 30 years. And this is Mr. Tommy Henderson. Tommy was the go-to person in the entertainment industry. He's worked with the likes of Whitney Houston, TLC, The Jackson, Janet Jackson, Dallas Austin, Babyface, and whom he was the person that found the talent for the Babyface's LaFace Records. But Tommy was a beast in the industry. He was the go-to person. And I met him by calling him and telling him he had to come to my showcase. And he couldn't tell me no. And we've been friends ever since. He's a respected in the industry. But what I love about Tommy is, in the height of his career in the industry, Tommy left his career and moved to Portland, Oregon, where the entertainment industry was not. But he went so that he could be a full-time father to his son, Atticus. And you can't pay for that. That's a stand-up man. He's my brother, and he's seen me through some dark times, some really dark. He knew me before I was even with Bill. So my family and children love this man, and so do I. Let's welcome Tommy Henderson. So there you have it, ladies. My amazing panel. I told you I had some stand-up men here. And I'm blessed to have these people and to call them my friends. So let's set the atmosphere for this conversation. So here's how we're going to run. I'm going to ask them a series of questions and they can answer. I may direct certain questions to certain ones, but please chime in and answer how you want to answer. Be honest, be authentic. Ladies, I need you to keep yourselves muted. And you may ask questions in the chat if you like, and we'll try to get those answered. And if we can get through these questions, we're going to open up for you to ask some questions on the forum. Now, there's no judgment here, ladies, no judgment, just awareness. And awareness gives you the ability to make a new choice. Now, here's where I want to caution you. You will be challenged because you're going to be hearing something new. And you may be hearing some things that you've not heard before, but it's important to remember that new things create new experiences. You be willing to step into this new space. You will feel uncomfortable, but uncomfortable is good. You will be even feel afraid, confused, anxious, even get pissed off and judgmental at times. And some people you may even get into blame and shut down and just jump off. And that's okay, because this kind of behavior, it keeps you stuck though. And it's okay to feel this way because it's a sign to keep moving in this direction. Just don't react to these feelings and impulses because you can't trust them. You can't trust your feelings and impulses. When we begin to feel these things, it means that we're stepping outside of our comfort zones, outside of the realm of what we actually know, and moving into a space without a compass. And sometimes women don't feel comfortable in that space, but that's where we need to be, because that's when your mind would try to convince you that something is wrong, or that is what's being said is not true, nor will it, and it won't work, because your mind's job is to keep you safe, but you're not your mind. You have a mind. You're not your mind. Please understand that. You have a mind, but you're not your mind. And so when you feel these emotions and anger and anxiety, got some people trying to come in. Hold on a second. Where they in? So when you feel these emotions, anger, anxiety, judgment, confusion, simply pause and acknowledge them. Then take 100% responsibility for what you're feeling and move forward, because you recognize that these feelings simply means that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, and outside of the comfort zone is where the real magic happens. Because you know what they say about magic, my son said you can't turn it off. So we want to make sure that we respect each other, we feel free, and we open, and we're honest, and we honor each other here. That's so important. Minister Andre reminded me of that. So I believe that our relationships are in trouble. And I believe that I've been mandated to do my best to help us identify the issues, to solve and learn how to create a sustainable, awakened love that will last a lifetime, like Kevin's parents did. I wish I had that story. What a story. Because when our relationships thrive, our families thrive. And when our families thrive, our communities thrive. And when our communities thrive, nations thrive. So as I set the atmosphere, let's begin with this short connection and repeat after me. I place my relationships on the altar of God. Just say that to yourself. You see, the ego speaks first, and the ego speaks the loudest. It always makes the case for separation. Someone did this or someone did that. Therefore, they don't deserve my love. In any moment that we listen to the ego, we deny the love to somebody to the extent that love will be denied to us. I pray for a power greater than my own to push back the storm of neurotic thinking. What I place on the altar to God is then altered within my mind. My relationships are part of the divine curriculum designed for me and designed to be fulfilled. Thus, my relationships will be blessed and their potential for love fulfilled. Dear God, may my relationships be lifted to divine right order and take the form for that best serve your purpose. May all unfold within me and my relationships according to your will. Amen. I place my relationships on the altar of God. So now that the atmosphere is set, we getting ready to get into the meat of it. Y'all ready? Hold on.
Let's do it.
Okay. So guys, this is a question. What is the single most challenge, issue, problem, or pain that you're seeing when it comes to relationships, dating, or marriage? Okay, Ron, you go first. We're right here. What is the single most?
I think for my experience is having the safe space to be vulnerable, to have a real conversation without coming across as weak or insecure. Is probably the most challenging aspect for men in relationships, because you're always taught not to be vulnerable. If you were, you're going to be judged. And if you're judged, you're not going to be judged in a perspective that makes you feel good about yourself or makes you feel like a man after it's over. And so I think that vulnerability of being able to have open dialogue about some insecurities or some mistakes or things that's happened to you or with you throughout life, you just don't have that safe space. And I don't think most people, honestly, Angela, know how to even create a safe space. It's not taught, it's not trained, you hear it, but most of us, like, I guess the answer is, if a tornado comes, everybody knows to run to the safe room. But when there's a tornado in your life, where's the safe room?
That's good.
Wow.
That's good. Y'all jump in, anybody?
Well, I want to say, I'm gonna start off rolling. Ladies, y'all gotta unball your fists. I mean, it ain't combat out here.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing I come across right now personally. I even see that in my practice is, people are coming to a situation where you're trying to create, develop, and maintain a relationship, but you coming from the perspective of a combatant, like it's a fight, like you got to battle the person, and it's just crazy how people start off with what they're not going to tolerate and who they're not going to tolerate, and and it's almost like you start off at the end. Allow that thing to organically create itself and relax. If the guy shows up, more likely than not, he's interested and he's there to get to know you, and he's there to try to develop a relationship with somebody he can have peace. He didn't come to battle you. He didn't come to fight. He didn't come to fight. We all have demons, but when I say fight, he's not there to prove he's better than you, or you better than him, or you got more money, or he got more money, or you got a bigger house, or he got a bigger house. Put all that aside and get to know somebody, and which goes hand in hand with being vulnerable. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. And if it gets to the point where that vulnerability is risking you, that's when you cut it off, but not from the start. Yeah, I'm not showing up to battle you. You ain't got to tell me you got your own house or your own car. Your back. You grown. You should. I hope you got your own.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've run into dating in this, was it post-COVID era, if you will, and even prior to that is and I've talked to a lot of successful gentlemen here in the Atlanta market. And pretty much we are judged by what we do versus who we are. Okay. And that's kind of hard. It's very hard, because as long as you're focusing on what I do, you will never get to know me. Because once I realize that that's the road that you're going down, I'm going to back off and shut down. Okay. So you will never get to know me. What I do is because I'm blessed and because I put in the work. Okay, but once that curtain closes, or when we're done filming and I go cut and then that's a wrap and I go home, that's a totally different person walking in that door. Okay, and people need to understand that.
And they don't, and that's why you don't drive that car with that peanut butter interior. What I see part in your garage.
See, I'm not even gonna go there with you, but you're right. A lot of times I don't until later on. You're right.
Yeah, right. Okay, Scott, you're going to say something.
Can I sneak in? I want to sneak in. First of all, Ron just popped it, then Kevin came and unpacked that bad boy, and Drew. I think that you talked about one of the single most threatening or issues in relationship is we are people that have suffered from what I call emotional terrorism. And we have been entered into a combative mode against ourselves. And even one of the challenges, our women, that we are challenged with, call themselves these bad bees, these boss bees. And I need a man that can handle me. Well, first of all, a man don't want to handle a woman. A man handles his dogs. And if you're calling yourself a bee, that's what you've titled yourself. And a man is not threatened by what you have. A man might be irritated by what has you. And you've been
say that again.
Absolutely.
A man is not threatened by what you have. A man might be irritated by what has you. And what has you is this feminist, I'm an alpha woman. How come our women are the only women that connect a title to them versus just being the woman? And so a man covers a woman, he handles a dog. And so one of the challenges is in our own emotional terrorism, we've been taught to combat each other or go against each other, and femininity and softness is a lost skill set now because it's deemed as weak. And a man, one of my biggest and my only complaint that I have, even in my life, in my relationship, is I won't be disrespected and I won't be dishonored. You don't take me for granted that because I am a gentleman and I strive to be a gentleman, that I'm a weak man. And so when Ron was talking about the vulnerability and the ability to be able to have a safe place, I like that tornado thing, stolen, Ron. I'll give you credit. The first time I use it, but I'm taking that. But the emotional terrorism has put us in a place of emotional retardation, and there has to be an emotional release, but then we have to understand emotional intelligence. And so while we've been told that we have anger issues as men, and there's anger issues with our women, and many times we don't have anger issues at all. We have hurt issues that we haven't been able to confront or had permission to express in a safe place. So it's going to take men helping men to heal, and then men helping women to heal as well. So I'll just throw that in. Emotional terrorism is one of the issues that have taken place in our communities, and we've been taught not to like ourselves or each other. And so when you see a strong apparent man, we call that now toxic masculinity. And then when you see a softer man, you call him whatever, while your woman is an alpha. And so it takes an alpha man to handle me. A man don't want to handle you. He wants to cover you.
Wow, I like that. That's good.
It seems to me a lot of women come into a relationship with baggage, and they kind of put that baggage at your feet, and it's like, these aren't my bags. And it seems to happen really over and over when I hear about relationships, and you just really can't come into a relationship judging the current person on the past person. It just happens. It happens too much and too often. It just seems like when you're talking to someone new, there's just this space there that needs to be filled, and you can't fill it if somebody's battling you all the time. And you just really can't.
That's good. That's good.
I think that for me, the negative influences is the biggest thing that's going on right now. It's negative, horrible, irresponsible influences. And the truth has become non-existent. It's not even important anymore. We had a sister not too long ago put something out talking to Ayanna Van Zant about bus drivers, right? And she wouldn't date a guy unless he owned the bus that he was driving. Now, I understand that the sister probably wouldn't date a bus driver, period. And that's okay. And that's all she had to say. But she felt the need to go into people having bad grades. And this is why they're not, shooting for the stars. And I'm sitting here like, since when being a bus driver was a bad thing? But what usually happens is someone at her level, she's probably, she's definitely celebrity status.
and she'll say something that affects the women that's regular women, people that got to go to work. And then they start taking on the same attitude. And it's like, you're not her. And a lot of people aren't her. Being a millionaire is not the easiest thing to be. And being somebody who's a millionaire, you're in the 1%. So it's another 99% of y'all that can't say what she say. And that bus driver with that amazing career and that has some benefits and has things that can help your kids get into college for cheap or free, and has some stability around the house and all that other stuff, the influence have put you in a space where you're neglecting these individuals. As the brother said, you should have your own car and house and everything like that. And I'm raising a teenager, and I tell her, like, my daughter already has businesses of her own. I don't want you to look for a man with money. Only thing you need is that he need to be able to take care of himself, because that's what's required of grownups, not of a man, of a woman. When he meets you, he should have a car so you don't have to drive him around because you have a car. He should have a place to stay. It don't have to be like yours. You can have a 5-bedroom house and he got a place to call his own. That's his place. And then we start from there. And then you start to get to know each other and become something. But the influence is that you have to have 6 figures. You have to make 6 figures. Well, you might not make it now, but that don't mean that getting with that queen won't get him to that space. And the knowledge that you come with and the support that you come with of that man will take him there and beyond. We want to be Michelle Obama's, but she took a back seat to make Barack Obama president. It's not because she wasn't dope. It wasn't because she didn't have the skill set, but she saw a bigger vision. And you ladies are blessed with the talent and the vision. It's something that God gave you. And that's that 6th sense. That's that women's intuition that we don't have, but it wasn't there to find other women. It was put there for you to ward off danger and see things that we can't see. And so that influence has taken that away from us, our sisters.
Thank you, Jamar. And the car that Barack took Michelle on their first date had a hole in the floor, and she could see the road. And all he took her was for ice cream. But look, she saw something deeper in the man. Exactly. So Gerard.
Yes, ma'am. All valid points, but Tommy hit on the head what I was going to allude to with the baggage. A lot of my female acquaintance, coworkers, they have those negative mindsets. And I'm like, when you have that mindset, you're going to get negative results. And I'm like, that you have to change your mindset and your outlook first. And a lot of times, they penalize their female or their male friend rather for something that has occurred in their past. And I'm like, that's not fair to him. You gotta let go and let God, as I say, and move on. You get what's in your rear view is in your rear view for a reason.
Absolutely. Those some good answers, y'all.
Angela, if I can say something, I know you're ready to move on to the next thing.
Go ahead.
And, I always try not to dominate.
Go ahead. No, feel free, brother.
But, going to we all got baggage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We all have baggage. Everybody has baggage, especially those of us who are a little older. So it's not so much that you're bringing your baggage. It's just that you need to work out how to carry your baggage, And so you should have that worked out before you approach someone else. You should be able to carry your bags. You should have realized what bags you don't need anymore, what to put down, what to leave behind, because it's just unrealistic that you're not going to bring something. But if you lead with that baggage, if that's and that's the thing that makes people a combatant. They come in there fighting because they got all these bags. They haven't put anything down. They blame everybody for them. That's people in the past, people in the present, people in the future. We all have to do that, men and women. We all got to deal with that and deal with that stuff. Mm-hmm. The second thing, and I'm going to make it quick, because you and I talked about this before, Angela, when I said during integration, Black people's mindset started changing. In some sense, it sounds crazy. We were better off when we had less.
Yes. Mhm.
We had more respect for each other when we had less.
Mhm.
Now people get a little bit, and it's a little bit, you know, like the brother who was saying about the sister who said, I'm not trying to be in a relationship, or I'm not trying to date some guy who's driving a bus. Well, I mean, you one pink slip away from driving a bus yourself. You know, so, you know, and don't act like because you made $1 million in 2021 that you're gonna make $1 million in 2022.
That's right.
Anybody who's made a significant amount of money knows what kind of roller coaster that journey is.
Absolutely.
You know, so the thing is that I understand now we got this European mindset about what we want to, how we want to live, and, you know, and what image we're projecting in the way we live financially, but take your foot off the gas pedal on that. You know, don't, like somebody said, don't judge people by what they have, judge them by who they are.
Absolutely.
Martin Luther King said he wanted his kids to be judged by the content of their character. He didn't say anything about any bank account. So let's stop tripping. Let's go to that. You know, that little bit of money you got today might not be what you have tomorrow. Absolutely. You know, and don't nobody care about that anyway. Absolutely. You know, because you ain't gonna spend it on the men.
Okay. Okay.
So here's the deal, ladies. They're talking, and these men are all accomplished men. They got their own bank. Okay, so they're not saying this because they broke, because not one on here is broke. Okay, they got their bank, but this is what they're saying that they're seeing. So I appreciate y'all telling the truth. So the next question is, what is the one thing that you wish women knew about men that they seem to be clueless about?
I would have to say that men are simple.
Yeah,
It's really not that hard. Women seem to overthink a relationship, and men are simple. It just doesn't take much. I think I've told you before, Angela, that I have a book about that I'm putting together. The 3 S's.
3 S's.
And that's it.
He said sandwich, sports, and sex.
No. It was.
What is it?
It was sex.
Oh, then that order.
Sports and space.
Oh, okay. Sex,
sports and space.
And space. That's how simple men are.
I don't know what you add into this or will you put these, but it's just this simple. Believe in me. Just keep our house clean and give me some. We will knock down the world for you.
You would do what?
I mean,
you do what, Andre? You do what?
No, let's keep the house clean, because a lot of people don't know when you get to a certain age, when you're younger, you can just do it. But if it's clutter, my man's mind is scrambled. It's hard to focus in an intimate setting. But if you believe in me, my God, if you believe in me and you give me some, okay. I'm sorry, we've made it so complex and so mystical. And I think I'll add this in there. Don't try to translate what a man says. If he tells you what he tells you, he told you.
That's what he said.
Yeah, right? Okay, that's a good point, because that's what a lot of women, they're trying to read. Well, he said this, but he keeps calling, or he said this. And I say, listen to what he said and what he does, because he means what he said.
He told you.
He told you.
I know I have a
Dre, if the house dirty, you ain't gonna want it anyway, right?
Right.
Right. You know, that's scary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You come out the house looking like a dime, you get to your house. Oh my God. Oh, serious.
No, I got to go home, sweetie.
I've heard that before. I heard that one before.
Angela, to add to that, women need to understand that even though we may be their lover, we may be their cover, that we are not their best friend as far as that person you get on the phone and talk to for 4 and 5. I don't have 5 hours of nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's talk about the relationship. Let's talk about the direction that we're going into as a couple, as an entity. But you know, if old girl that work in the cubicle next to you at work said something to you that was foul, yes, I want to hear it, but I don't want to talk about it for 2 hours.
Right.
So please know when to pause, I guess is a real good way. Know when to hit the pause button. And when we walk in the door, give us some time to decompress.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
If I walk in the house, I'm in there 3 minutes and now I got to hear about your day. I haven't gone to the restroom and grabbed my book yet. You know what I'm saying? Give me time to decompress. Then we can discuss what's wrong in your work.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Gerard?
Yes, what I was going to say is I have a saying, and I've been saying this for years. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. Don't try to find the gray area, because I'm a black and white kind of guy. Like, I'm straight to the point. I shoot from the hip, and what I say is what I mean. And a lot of times women think we're the enemy and they treat us like the enemy. And I'm just like, I'm not up for confrontation. I'm not an argumentative kind of guy. But I mean, a lot of times women will make the smallest thing an argument. And I'm just like, really? Like, are we really doing this right now?
For real.
Yeah. Yeah.
You better be careful, Gerard.
I ain't say no name. I ain't say no name. But look, it's like I tell my basketball players, if the shoe fit, wear it. Okay. I ain't say no names.
Angela gonna be calling me when it's over.
His wife just posted in the chat. He talking about me, y'all.
Oh wow, Crystal.
Oh,
Look, I
boy.
guess that shoe fit.
Listen, I raised her, so I know who he talking about.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Who was it? Jamal,
me.
you ready to say
Yeah.
something? Okay.
For me, the number one thing is protection. And I say that because especially once you get married, that woman know every secret. She know where all the bones are buried. She knows everything. And if she's not willing to protect you, and again, as I said, and especially for my people that's spiritual, you know, you've been given that sixth sense for that reason. You know, it's not for you to find out if I'm with another woman or all this other dumb stuff. Like, it's supposed to be warding off those, those dangers that I can't see because we running 100,000 miles an hour. And that woman's supposed to be like, nah, I just don't feel it. I see him, nah, and that's not it. That's probably not a good business move. That's probably not that. And if I can't get that type of protection, we're not expecting you to protect us physically, but it's just that, you know, you're the confidant. You're the person who we land next to. You see the flaws. You see everything behind the veil. And you got to be willing to protect that man. You know, it's a mandate that we have to protect you. But I believe that it should be a mandate that you protect us as well.
And don't use what I give you about me and my vulnerability, as Ron started off with. Don't use that against me when you get upset, because then you can't beat me, but your words can do something to me. And hear me, I could be present and gone at the same time. I can
that is true.
Doing in that house, and you'll know if you can feel. And when you use what I've given you against me, you side with my enemy.
Ooh.
And so there's another part.
Wow.
You hear me? There's another part of me, and y'all, I'm going to interject this in a healthy way. Just, you know, if you say confess your faults one to another that you can be healed. My most abusive trait that I have is my silence. I am a communicator. And if I can't talk to you and you take my voice from me, I'll take my voice from you. And it's going to hurt you more than it does me, because I'm a survivor. I was living before I met you, but it'll kill you. And that's something that I have to grow in still.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that stonewalling can be poison.
Yes.
Silence can be very loud.
Yeah. So Ron, did you say something about that? Did you comment on that one?
No, Angela, they already hit it. I mean, the brother said a lot of phenomenal stuff that I don't need to reiterate. Solid.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, next question. Here's one. The number one thing that a woman should never say to her man.
Well, first of all, some things you definitely can't apologize for.
Right.
And
Right.
so actually there should be nothing come out of your mouth that's going to demasculate your man or disrespect your man, period.
Mhm.
And it's not what you say, but how you say it that makes the difference.
Mhm.
So that's, I mean, I hope I'm getting.
So
where
you're
you-
saying, so
where
are
I'm
you
trying
saying
to go.
tone is as important as the words?
Tone and the way that it's delivered. You can give me roses, but if you're giving them to me on a trash can top, you know, it's still trash to me.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
All black men ain't. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
come on now.
Do y'all hear that a lot?
Oh yes.
I
Oh,
hear it
yes.
in different forms.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
And it's just why you even say that? I mean, are you saying your father ain't, your grandfather, your uncle, your brother, your nephew, your son,
Mhm.
your cousins?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And
we
what's the
all
common denominator in all that? You.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. True. True. Mhm.
right. So we all can't be nice. You know what I'm saying? Just because you went out and you found one dude who wasn't about nothing, you need to question why you attracted to people who are about nothing.
Mhm.
Don't bring that to me. That's on you. I wasn't there.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, for the sisters, it goes for us too, but I'm just saying that, no, man, come on. Don't do that. Don't do that, because you can't go anywhere after that. What we gonna do after that? You already told me, you telling me I'm not, my father's not, my grandfather's not. And a lot of these men are responsible for helping you get the opportunities that you have now. Did you know it was a black man who fought for equal pay
Mhm.
That's right.
for women?
Mhm.
You know, and they were primarily, you talking about Matthew Perry and Thurgood Marshall. For women, these guys were out front in that movement way before ERA and all that stuff. So if nothing else, do your research.
Good. 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 Anybody else?
Yeah. Yeah, Angela. I mean, there's so many things that I think that I wouldn't want to hear from my wife
Mhm.
at all. At the end of the day, I think the thing that stands out the most is I don't need you,
Mm. Mm.
and I, that regardless of what's happening, whether it's I don't need, and I think that language shows up a lot in relationships. I don't need you, because our women are becoming more aggressive and assertive and getting things done themselves. And so there's this mindset of I don't. So if I'm in this relationship, but I don't feel like I'm needed, I'm probably not going to be in the relationship, whether I'm physically there or emotionally there or not there. So that's one. The other one is you wouldn't be blank without me.
That part.
If it wasn't for me,
Oh,
you wouldn't be
wow.
blank if it wasn't for me. So for
Wow.
me, I've become very successful, and of course, my wife has been a huge part of that. But I don't want that to turn around at some point, and somewhere in life is you're having some kind of disagreement. Say, hey, and I'm not a cursor, but I mean, I can only imagine the language that's being used is you wouldn't be blank if it wasn't for me,
Mhm.
and that may
Mhm.
very well be true. It
Mhm.
absolutely may be accurate, but I don't want it thrown back at me.
You don't want to go back at you. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Another one, Angela, is I don't need no man.
Mhm.
Right.
That part.
Then
Right.
why we here?
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I say? I'm not gonna say what I say on the internet. If you don't need no man,
Then why we here? Why we sitting here? Yeah.
Why are we even having this conversation? Right.
I just assume
That you needed me, huh?
ain't but women and men. So if you don't need a man, yeah.
What's the alternative, right?
Oh my goodness.
What's the alternative? Maybe I need to call my sister.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Y'all nailed that one. Y'all nailed it.
Are women really saying these things to y'all? Are y'all
I
hearing?
have heard those
Yes.
things, yes.
Really?
And I got
You
out.
mean to tell me you hear somebody say, all Black men ain't ish?
I heard that.
That's being said to
Oh,
you.
When I met you, you was nothing. Listen, when I was nothing, I ain't never been nothing. When I was nothing, I was somebody. So what you mean you met me? I was nothing. Bye.
Women are saying these things. Wow.
They get in there emotional, and some people
Mhm.
get, oh my God, some, you know, I'm solid now, and I thank God that I've grown, but some people get mixed up what you do for them or to them mixed up with you gotta have them. Hello? And you don't understand, I made that work. I make that work. You didn't know what that was until I did that for, you know, with you or whatever. So to act like you met me, and I was down. There's times in pockets we've been down, but I was never not nothing. You know, maybe I didn't understand my own value or my own self-worth in seasons or in spots. And I think we've all maybe matriculated through that place, but I ain't never not been nothing. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I think I just, you know, those words of competition versus completion can end, you know, end up leaving you INDEPE, you know, you independent, you know, you got your own house, you got your own by your own self. Go ahead. Good job, guys. Good job.
Got $1 million in the bank and an empty bedroom. Damn.
And I can't find no good man. I want a real man. I want a real man, and everything about you fake. Your hair, your eyes, your nails, your breasts, your butt.
And don't forget the baby hair.
The baby hair, them lace, you know, everything about you fake. You talk about you want a real man, but watch this. And you want a man to live up to a standard that you can't even handle. See, this is the thing. When you come into a relationship, the ability to relate and guide the ship is what's the focal. You ready? And men, we will stop hurting ourselves if we realize and we agree that the person is your assignment and you are their assignment. If you're playing with each other, that's another thing. But if you're looking for a person to be assigned to the rest of your life, you'll be able to handle their baggage because they'll come and say, hey, this is who I am.
Right.
And you'll be able to discern because you know what you're attracted to. So you already know who it is that you're getting because you were looking for a void in you when you found them. The worst thing a woman could do is when you find her and she act like that's not who she is. And I know who I picked. I know who I selected. And lastly, stop acting like you're the only thing at the table. Because what you don't know now, men is the bag. A man is the bag. Not, you got to hear me. Women, y'all make the whole world go round. But because of the shortage of who we are, you don't get to urinate on us and think that's okay. Like,
yeah, because in reality, it's not so much of a shortage. It's like when you go to the hospital.
Plan, sir. Come on.
When you go to the hospital, it's not like, oh, today 50 girls were born and 50 boys were born. The next day, 25 girls were born, 25 boys were born. More women are born than men. There's more women. It comes out to about 3 million in the United States. If you separated it totally, you know, divided state by state, 60 million more women than men in every state if you divided it evenly.
So that's like 50 to 75 to 1.
So yeah, so something's not gonna, in a perfect world, there are 60,000 single women. In a perfect world, if you say, okay, I want everybody to have somebody.
And until they change the mindset, that number's going to stay where it's at.
Oh, it's
or increase.
It's gonna increase. It's gonna increase. And the thing is like you just have to learn how to make this thing work because it's never gonna be a perfect world.
There you go. It's never gonna be it's never gonna be perfect. Gerard, you had something to say?
Oh no, I'm just agreeing with everything. I know the mindset, you know, and I just keep alluding to that. But absolutely, yeah, the short is scary. It's scary. And it's like David said, until they, you know, self-assess. And that's the hardest test, is that self-assessment, looking in the mirror and saying that, you know, it's not always the other person, because Pastor Reed and Mama, you know, he did premarital counseling for us and marital counseling. And he told us that 50-50 is the wrong answer. You both need to be coming to the table with 100.
Wide open.
You can't come to the table with half a person. No, that's not gonna work.
Absolutely. And the thing I love about Gerard and Crystal was they did premarital counseling all the way up till they got married with Pastor Reed. Then they went to them and said, we heard that the first year of marriage is difficult. Will you counsel us the first year of our marriage? And so that just helped them to really understand how to make this thing work. And then they have them to go to, instead of coming to their parents who are biased, when they have issues, they go to Pastor Sister Reed. They go there. And that's how, and they've set it up that way so that they can win. Yeah.
But, you know, Angela, you also have a lot of women that don't want to put in the work that's necessary for a relationship. All right. They figure that you've gone out to dinner today and you may have called on the phone a couple of times, and all of a sudden you're in a relationship. No, you are dating. You are getting to know each other to determine if we can move forward down that dating path. All right. And sometimes you won't. Okay. Sometimes there are going to be red flags and you're just not going to get there. But be honest enough with yourself and with that individual and let them know, look, we tried. This is not working. That's not working. Let's talk about it. And if we can't move past it, it's okay to move on. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And get rid of this list, ladies. I'm sorry. Get rid of this list. He has to be 6 feet tall. He has to make 6 figures. He has to drive an Italian sports car. He has to A, B, C, and D. Are you what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Because if you're not, there's a good chance you will not be in this circle. All right. Life is like an onion. It's different layers. Okay. If you are not on the same layer, we will never cross paths. All right. I'm just saying, you know,
it really isn't fair for men, Angela. You know what I'm saying?
What you
Women
saying?
can go get weaves and you can get eyelashes. You can put on makeup. Y'all can fly down to Miami and get BBLs. Man, if a man ugly, he just ugly. You know what I'm saying? if he ain't 6 feet, if the man 5'7", he just 5'7".
Okay.
He said he can't cover nothing up, huh?
No, we can't cover nothing up. Yeah.
So
y'all gotta do us right, man. And you right, man. You're right. It ain't fair for you to have a weave and then tell me I need to be something that you not. Take your hair off. Let's see what you do.
Take your hair off.
For real.
Bring me a before and an after picture. Let me see what I'm gonna wake up to one morning. You feel me?
Come on.
Your hair off.
Yeah.
y'all gonna get in trouble.
What did my man say? You said that she looked like Janet Jackson. Got out of the car. She looked like
Freddie, like Freddie Jackson.
You're so superficial. All you're looking at is
Janet Jackson in the restaurant. She Freddie Jackson in the bedroom.
Y'all are crazy. So basically, y'all are saying that the criteria, from what I understand, and I see this, that we're basing the criteria of men on a model, especially most of us on this are African-American women and men. But we're basing this relationship model, what we want, on a model that is not in alignment with who we are as African-Americans, really.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion. It is an illusion.
It's an illusion. And this is part of the issue. An absent father is horrible. It's a horrible thing. For men and for women. Hello?
Oh yeah, definitely for women.
But a toxic mama is worse.
Ooh.
Mhm.
And I know we don't get to talk about that in our culture because you don't say nothing
Ew,
about
Oh, you
don't
ain't gonna
talk
say nothing about
black
mama.
You don't say nothing
Mhm.
about mama, but some of the doggone dysfunctionality that we have is a lot of women today are listening to single mamas that never had nobody, don't have nobody,
Mhm.
and in that pain, you trying to compare yourself to a woman that's by herself
Mhm.
and trying to tell you how to run your marriage or run your relationships. You got to do this and you got to do. Well, it didn't work for her.
Mhm.
Right.
And she's poisoned. And a lot of times, some mamas are jealous of their own daughters.
Wow.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
I've
They're
seen
jealous
that.
of their own daughters because you don't want her to outdo you by the selection of somebody that covers her better than the one you got, if you got one.
Wow.
So now when I'm talking about emotional terrorism, we've been hijacked as a people.
Ooh, yeah.
Think about it.
Mhm. And suffering from Black fatigue, and you couple all of that together, then we've got a mess. And what? But y'all, we in trouble because studies are showing that that Black women are the largest percentage of women that are unpartnered. You know, we're unpartnered and we're raising children, Black children, without a Black man.
And it's a setup because they're threatened by our Blackness. If we ever work together, if we ever stood together, if we ever build, it's
That's still there. Mhm.
it's a freaking setup to where the Cheerio commercials are showing white men with our Black women.
Absolutely.
I can't really talk for
Absolutely.
real, but it's a setup, and we don't even see the games that's been played on us as a people. We've been taught not to even like our own selves and have an expectation of somebody else coming to save us when really we're the only ones that can save us together.
That's it.
Together.
Together, just right, together. It's gonna, but it seems like we're fighting each other, and while we're fighting, the laws are being passed. While we're fighting, they're doing it through they're handling us through these and social media and the images that are being embedded in our mindset and telling us that this is the model of the relationship that you're supposed to be in. And there are certain things that are culturally ours. And we should have learned that when we went into Iraq, that you can't change culture.
Okay.
Okay. If we can't learn anything else, that culture is the hardest thing to change. And so invading and trying to change a culture, now you can rewrite a narrative, but you and try to and make something out of that. But culturally, we are a certain breed of people that it takes this. And what I've learned about Black men is, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I was raised with 3 brothers and I was the only girl. So I got a bird's eye view of what it takes. And I was not allowed, and I was the sibling, but I was not allowed to talk to my brothers any kind of way. My mother and my grandmother would check me if I said something out of the way to my brothers. And I only have one left, and he's the oldest. And when he calls me and he say, "Look here, I need you to do such and such," I jump and do it. And I'm a grown woman, Gerard to tell you, but I hop when Robert calls because I've been taught to have a level of respect and appreciation for the Black man, because that's all I know. And so that has seemed to gone out of the water. And in return, then the Black men start to act out in a way. And now we're calling all of them narcissists and calling them this and that. But the number 2 thing that men need is appreciation and respect. And that I see has dissolved in the Black community. I mean, we were even taught, if we saw, back in the day, we call them winos. If we saw a wino on the corner, we still was told to speak.
That's right.
Speak to him.
That's right.
And so the culture is losing its strength. And so for you, what does respect and appreciation look like for you? Because with me coaching women, what I see is the man can do 10 things right, but he do one thing wrong and they go in on that one thing and forget about the 10 that he did yesterday. And they harping on the one thing. And I know a lot of that comes from the fact that they think if one thing is wrong, that it's got to be perfect in order for me to feel safe in the relationship. And they don't understand. I know, Kevin, it's with parents being married 70 years, you understand that there are perpetual problems in relationship that's never going to go away. You got solvable problems, but you got these perpetual problems that every relationship has. You just find a way to negotiate, but the problems don't go away. You find a way to live through them.
Absolutely.
Right. Commitment.
Where's
the commitment?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta be committed, and then you gotta understand what the word serve means, and submitting yourself means. It doesn't make you.
You just curse. You said
right. It doesn't devalue you as a woman, and you're not. The husband's going to also serve his wife, or the boyfriend serves his girlfriend, the father serves the mother. But you have to be willing to submit. You and I, again, as I go back to the conversation we had, and I talked about at the turn of the ERA when Black women jumped on that feminism bandwagon back in the 70s, and didn't realize, although, and I don't know who's on the call, but I'm gonna say what I got to say.
Okay.
That other women were talking about their rights and want to be equal. They were still marrying the men that they allegedly were protesting against.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
They'll join themselves to our.
Right. They still served. They still submitted. They still went home. They still reared those kids. They still cooked. They still cleaned. I'm not saying you got to go and you got to do all this, because Lord have mercy, you ask anybody about cleaning and cooking now.
Really?
But is your house dirty and do you eat? I mean, so you doing it. Hopefully you doing it already. But the thing is, understand where you need to go and how to get there. And a lot of us don't. And my parents, luckily for me, they gave me a blueprint. 70 years is a long time. That's a long time. And there's no way, my father was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Stop looking for a perfect man. Stop looking for a perfect situation. Work with the imperfections. And as my mother would say, my mother, not my father, get over it. Get over it. Stop thinking that the stuff that you value now is going to be the things that you value when you 70, 80, 90 years old.
Absolutely. I guess at the end of the day, the question comes, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Okay. I'd rather be happy.
Yeah.
Okay, because
right, or do you want to make things right?
There you go.
Do you want to be right or do you want to make things right? And I was sharing on my show that commitment means putting all your eggs in one basket. That's remember who was that said, let the ships burn, we'll get a new one. It's about putting all your eggs in one basket, because that's what real commitment is. And we don't want to do that. We want to let me put an egg over here and an egg over here just in case.
Right. For a rainy day. And that rainy day will come. It will come.
It's the brother said it well, but the thing I think about in the 70s, 60s, 70s with the feminist movement was, we got to understand that those sisters, those other sisters didn't think that they understood who their enemy was. They understood that, and they understood they was acting out to their men, saying, you got to think about it. They weren't able to vote. They weren't able to do a lot of things, but Black men who were called monkeys, who were called less than human, were able to do. You guys allowed them to do things before you allowed us to do it. So I still want you, but I'm going to act out because now I can't vote, but he can vote.
I love that.
I'm not a politician, but he's a politician. I can't do these things, but he can do it. The monkey, the person who was let 3/5 of a man, you allowed him to do this.
I like
So
that. Jamal.
I'm upset with you, and I'm going to act out. What happened
But
with
I'm
our
staying with
sisters?
you. Yeah.
Our sister said, "Okay, I dig that. I'm gonna get with y'all on this movement, but I'm gonna get mad at Tyrone and Jerome about not having a 6-figure job when Jerome ain't got no 6-figure job to give you. You know what I'm saying? He's not taking your job. The same man is giving him a job. It's like he's giving you a job. And you got into the wrong fight. And now you done made Tyrone your beef when it was Billy all along, because Susie understood that Billy was the problem, but she wasn't going nowhere from Billy. She just was going to act out in public because she learned from Billy how to do that thing.
I like that.
She acted out in public. Come on, Boston Tea Party, all that other stuff. She learned. She's been sitting there for hundreds of years watching how to act out in public when you want your way. And so that's what she did.
Come on.
That wasn't how you operated. When we went through things, we got together. We came together to solve our problems.
Yeah.
We went into the church. We prayed. We did all that to solve our problems. That's where that happened. And so we got to understand who our enemy is. And it's not about us or them. It's just in our community. Like, they was never like, oh, we leaving him. I'm just going to let you know we got a problem with you. And this is the way you like to show out. So we're going to show out in the same fashion.
But we left Leroy and Jerome.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
That's what we did. We left Leroy and Jerome, and then now 2 out of 3 of our kids are raising the 2 out of 3 kids don't have a dad in the house because we left Leroy, and then they put us in the projects and said Leroy had to go.
Exactly.
And not understanding that we got to be smarter, especially y'all. Our relationships are at grave, deep trouble. That's why we're having this conversation. And from what I'm hearing is that you guys are not feeling protected by your women. I know one thing my husband said to me is, when I trust you meaning not I trust you not to cheat on me. I trust that when I share my heart with you, that it stays just with you. That you don't share it with other people, that when I become vulnerable and share things with you, I need to know that it's this me and you, you know.
I ain't gossip material from you.
That it ain't for you to share with your mama or your nobody. It's for you. And that's what your ladies, your men are saying. We need to know that you got our back. Y'all remember when Michelle stood behind Barack and put her arms around him at that rally? From behind? That said a whole lot to the people. That said a whole lot to the people. Basically, she knew her husband was getting weary on that campaign, and she let him know, I got you. I got you. And so, and then that's what our men need.
Yeah, I think it's for the ladies that are listening. Yeah, I think for the ladies that are listening, Angela, when you think about what it takes to make this really work, is when I give you the worst part of the mess that I may be in, you still see me as a prize trophy to bring home.
Ooh, I like that. Say that again.
Because you're gonna, and I say that because I look at my parents and I watch my father and my mother. No matter the circumstances of what the world may have thought of him, my mother always let him know that she was, because we use this language of appreciate and tolerate. And I can honestly tell you, I can feel it when you're just tolerating me, when you're appreciating me. There's a total difference even in our conversation. And our women have gotten to the place where they're tolerating men in relationships versus appreciating. And what's yours should be yours. My mother took care of my father regardless of what happened with him. Like what woman would approach her about him, or what the bill collector would say, or what the job would say. My father knew before he died, my mother had his back no matter what. She said, we're here, we're going to figure it out, we're going to do it. And I think for us, we've gotten to this place where we get tired too quick. We throw the towel in too quick. It got to be perfect when we're not perfect, and it got to be right, and it got to look like this TV relationship. My mother and father taught me that no matter what happens, you figure it out and take care of it. And my wife has my back. Linda still to this day will tell you, no matter what happens to Ron, nobody better talk about it.
Right.
He's my man.
That part.
And I feel the same way about her. And I think we've disconnected that because we've gotten too comfortable of not necessarily respecting the relationship that we in with the person that we ended with. We actually care more about our likes on Facebook, what's on Instagram versus how I feel about you. We've let social media destroy our internal relationships.
Absolutely.
So we're more connected to the world than we are connected to the person we sleep with. We've lost sight of that. That same person that we're laying next to, having kids with, paying bills with, more people know about us outside the world.
Come on.
There's nobody on all of these magic boxes that know more about me than Linda Harvey. Absolutely nobody, not even our kids.
That's good.
That's right. That's right.
And we got to
As it
get back
should
to
be.
where the person you with is the person you with. Everything else happens to be a side dish.
Let me throw it.
Say that
be the main
again.
course.
Say that again. You the main course and everything else is a side dish.
And nothing should be able to come before me in my relationship with and so I will tell you that there are oftentimes for men, they don't feel like they're the number one priority in their relationship. And when a man doesn't feel number one priority, somebody's gonna make him feel number one and you lose.
Stop.
Say that.
They're gonna be number one somewhere.
They're gonna be number one somewhere, huh?
And women know this though, but women know this, Angela. Women know when a man is not number one at home.
They know.
And women
know.
are contributing to it as well, because there are women that will see that you're not being number one, or you're not being heard, or you're not being respected, and will play up to that.
Ron.
So women got to help in this thing too, because I know Angela well enough to know she saw me with somebody, she'll correct me.
Oh
Right.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But we don't women are not doing that enough. Women playing a part of the game
Yeah.
to entice men. So you look at, we heard about, Tommy Henderson, that people slide. I mean, we got to get our women to stop sliding cars, destroying our relationships.
Yeah.
If the brother looked good, he looked good. Good, she got him. But we ought to encourage that. But I'll tell you the things I wrote down. I don't expect to be perfect, and neither does my wife expect me to be perfect.
Right.
That's a lie.
Right.
Don't put that much pressure on your man. Your man ain't perfect, never will be perfect until the day he die. He will not be perfect. Work with what you got, make it the best you can. The other thing I put, respect. The one thing that for most men, if you disrespect the man, all hell breaks loose. You can overspend money. You can even tell him no for sex, but you disrespect him, all hell breaks loose.
What? That's all we got.
That's all we got, because that's what was taken from us in slavery.
That's all we got.
Yes. Say that again. That's right. Your dignity.
That's why we struggle. So that's that one fine thing. There are a lot of things we can tolerate and we can turn our head. If you disrespect us, and there are a lot of things that we consider disrespect, but if you disrespect the man, that's the one thing that makes it hard to recover from.
Tell us what does disrespect look like? Give us some examples.
Making the threat that you're gonna leave. And because we still growing up and every man has a little boy in him, we fight with abandonment issues in the first place. So for you to get all of us or get that, and you make the threat for that you're gonna leave, or you tell him to leave and he didn't have an alternative plan, that's a vulnerable place for a man to be in. And that's dangerous. So when you throw those words up, I'm gonna get to this, I'm going to take care of this, and you're like, I'll get somebody else to, that type stuff.
Oh yeah.
He ain't gonna say nothing. First of all, he ain't gonna say nothing, but in the mind, that you talking about that disconnect. Remember, I talked about being present and gone at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? Because we compartmentalize. That stuff ain't going nowhere. You can.
It's like I made a note of that.
Huh?
It's like I made a note of that.
Yeah.
You understand? Because we didn't put that in that waffle square. That's back there somewhere. And out of that, you can be working like Ron was saying, we can be working like this, but that one piece that is not organic, that one piece, he don't look at you the same. He don't rub your feet organically, even though you might ask him to rub your feet or whatever it is. He'll do it. Now it's out of a duty versus being out of from his heart, because once again, my phrase I use is you've aligned with my enemy. And when you've sided with my enemy,
That's good.
I know how to move. I'm gonna share this and then I'll probably be quiet for a remainder. Is we've lost vision. Where there is no vision, people perish. The people perish. And what has happened to us is we've been duped by the tell a vision. The tell a vision has been telling us a vision that we're no good. All we can do is do sports, blah, blah, blah. And we're not good enough to be men to cover our families, take care of, our children and be present for our women. And so what has happened is not only does the television tell a vision, it's been telling us a vision backed by the media, money earning devils intentionally assassinating a generation.
Woo.
Media.
Woo. Say that again, Dre.
Andre, you ain't trying to get no TV job.
Money devils potentially assassinating, and I add, a generation.
Your talk show days are over, bro.
Yeah.
Been wiped out by the television based by the media, and that's what TikTok and all these other media platforms. Ron said, man, I love this, Ron. Thank you, sir. That no one outside my space should know me better than my woman, and me knowing my woman better than anybody else. They should not have access to those gut spaces that belong only to me.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. I really honor you guys, and I really appreciate it. But Angela, I want to say this to you. Thank you for look at the men you got on here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a compliment to you, and it's a compliment to your husband. Watch this. You have always, I told you, graced us as men. You've always handled us with a level of honor. Sometimes even if we don't get it in the space that you've saved some sisters, you've saved some marriages by the way you've handled us as men. And I don't know if the women in our lives, the women around us understand that.
Thank you.
I want to tell you that. Thank you for being graceful and gifted and anointed by God to call this quorum of men and call men to a safe place to be able to dialogue and to share and to tell your people, these men ain't perfect, but these men are quality. And I know each of them, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Angela, the question, and thanks, Minister Barnes. What does respect look like, a disrespect look like or feel like? Raising your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as simple as that for men struggle with raising the voice, and you see temperatures go real high and people lose their cool.
Mm-hmm.
No, not listening is or putting someone else first. You know, I tell everybody all the time, my wife and the kids put one dude before me, and it's not her dad, it's Jesus.
Just talk, sir.
Okay.
And at the end, that's
you
it.
better not push him too much.
Yeah,
You better not talk about him too much.
And the only reason is because I'm biblically, and I say he can save you more than I can save you. But Jesus is the only person. Outside of that, my wife intentionally says no with the kids, with her mother, with my parents, with siblings. It's super important to understand that a man at this joint, our Black men need to feel like they are a party in somebody's life.
Okay.
We need it. We gotta have it at somewhere, because everywhere else we're gonna have to deal with all the other stuff. So when I walk in the house, Linda lets me know what do you need.
Yeah, that's a great.
For our men, what I tell our men, and I say this to Linda, if I'm supposed to protect Linda, then she shouldn't have to protect herself against me.
That's good. That's good.
So I do everything I can to make sure she feels just as safe as I want her to make me feel.
That's good. Thank you, Ron.
So I'm not raising my voice. I'm not yelling. I'm not screaming. And Andrew, you've been around us, and people challenge Linda and I on this all the time. We don't argue. And people will challenge me and say, "Man, you're lying." I say, "Call it what you wish to call it, but it's doable." Right. Because we come to a place where any issue shows up, we address it together, and we don't dress each other.
But her spirit is, how would
Her
you
spirit
be
is
in
just
her
like,
space? I mean, how can you be in her space and want to argue, because she carries that spirit of peace?
That assignment.
Yeah, you can tell she's assigned to him. And it's that peace that and she will step back and let him shine.
Yeah.
And she okay. But now understand that when Linda's stepping back, she's watching.
That part.
And she's observing what's gonna hurt him, what's good for him, who's not good for him. You know, don't think she's just standing back, just not being anything. She's watching and protecting him so he can shine. And yet you can't think of Ron without thinking of Linda, even though Ron is the face that you see all the time. And so, but that's partnership. That's partnership. And the same way with you, Dre, you out there and she's back there, but she's watching. She's watching. And so and it's work, y'all. It's work. But the level of respect that I've seen diminish when it comes to men by us, by the women, is what I'm embarrassed about. And that's why I talk to the women, and with my show Awaken Love, helping women redefine how we do love, dating, and marriage, because we need an overhaul. This whole y'all think it's cute, boss baby, get in the bag, I got this I started this thing called FAME, Feminine Awakened Matured Evolved Woman. It's your feminine power
that's a lot.
that's the most powerful for you. That masculine energy that you're trying to do. We say we need to have the masculine energy in our business, but we don't. I still am my feminine energy in my business, and I still get what I want through business. But we got to understand, when we step into who we really are and step into our space, and I get it, ladies, we've been wounded by our fathers, we've been wounded, but we're grown, we got to heal. The Bible says that when I was a child, I thought as a child. And when I became a man, I put away childish things. And so we all have a responsibility to do better. And the number one thing that's going to keep Black people progressing is that we protect and cultivate our relationships, our marriages, that we build these things strong, that we build strong families, and strong families build strong communities. My oldest daughter, her and her husband are separated, and their daughter graduated. But if they divorced when she was about 9 or 10. But if that man stayed in that woman's life, didn't he, Gerard? That boy was there every step of the way. That girl didn't miss a beat with her mama and daddy. At his house, she had her own room with everything in it. At her mama, she had the same thing at her mama's house. And even though they weren't in the same house, they raised that girl together.
It's doable. Yeah.
It's doable. So if you can't make it with that person, the child should not have to feel the butt of it. And Aubrey didn't feel the butt of it at all. Right. And so what I'm saying is, y'all, we got to get this relationship thing together. But they taught you how to ride a bike, taught you how to tie a shoe, taught you how to drive a car, but who taught you how to love? You got to gain the skill sets on how to make love work. And these guys are here telling y'all pretty much what they're saying is they need a space to be vulnerable in. They don't want to be fighting you. They're bad. They don't want you to be the enemy. They got too many enemies out there. They don't want you to judge them by what they do or what they have. They want you to judge them by who they are. They don't, what did you say, Jay? Andre, about a dog, you protect a woman.
Yeah, you cover a woman, you handle a dog. A man doesn't want to handle a woman.
He doesn't want to handle you, right? And we all have to deal with our hurt issues. And the respect, threatening to leave, raising your voice. And Kevin, what we talked about that at the other thing about the money. If she make $300,000 and the man makes $75,000, y'all got $375,000.
Y'all realize that.
That's today. Right. Y'all got $375.
Y'all gonna realize that.
Stop playing.
When? If the man makes 300 and the woman makes 75, y'all don't have any problem saying we.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You're right.
Yeah,
that's why I said it. I'm gonna say it. If the man, sometimes you gotta understand, sometimes you're gonna be the quarterback, sometimes you're gonna be the coach, sometimes you're gonna be the custodian, but you're together. Yeah, you're together as one. That's all that counts.
That's all that
Mhm.
And
counts.
I'll
all
add
it
to that
counts.
too. I add to that. That influence portion is it plays a part in that as well, because, and also for my own testimony, you know, my wife didn't get that support from her people around her until I became the breadwinner of my household.
Wow.
And it did not matter that I had things against me, like being a felon and starting a business, because everybody got a business nowadays, but that's real business owners that employ people, when you're building something and you have something that's actually the community needs, and not just because you don't want to go and get a job. You don't get up in a year. You get up, it takes some time to do that.
It's some time.
But I promise you, it wasn't until I was clearly head and shoulders as the breadwinner was like, oh yeah, now you getting the families chiming in on my Facebook post, and yeah, that's him. But other than that, and these are church going people, you know what I'm saying? These are holier than thou people, and they're like, no, they're not preaching y'all together. Well, he treats you well, he ain't knock you upside the head, he ain't got 15 other women coming. It was no, until he get right financially, he's just coming to earth. So there's a lot of people living that lifestyle, and it's terrible. So in that space, and to answer your question, Mama, the way you disrespect is to be quiet. Because that woman, that's when she got to step up and be a woman and say, that's who I chose.
Come here.
My man. I don't care if he's not for you.
Yeah.
He's for me. And what I get out of him, I'm happy with. I don't care what you have or what you getting, because it's not for you didn't choose him. I chose him. So
And to accept him for who he
no,
is.
they don't have to accept him. She has to step up.
I'm talking about my woman. Imagine me,
She
Jay, being
quiet.
in a box as a preacher, and everybody want to lock me into this religious, super nutty stuff. And I'm saying, I'm not that dude. I'm the dude that maybe won't, drink a little, Moscato. I'm the dude that maybe an adjective gonna come out my mouth. I'm the dude that will check your family, check you, check your mama, because when I'm protecting people with my character, I am a hero. When I'm correcting them with my same character, I am a zero. And can you be okay with me in those places?
Yeah.
Can you
gotta
love
speak
me? Because I'm a different dude. And I know I'm different. And because I chose you, can you roll with me until we get to where we're going? Because we're going somewhere. But don't turn against me because I don't fit the norm.
You got to speak up. When silence is louder than your words.
That part.
So a woman has to speak up. As you were saying, that how Miss Linda would do, like, don't think that you're gonna be able to come at Ron, and like, you got to be willing to speak up. When the time comes.
Yeah.
And long relationships, it might happen, every few years, but when the time comes, you got to speak up for that man and remind him and everybody else, know I'm with him. I don't care what y'all got going on. That's the best way you can show respect, not disrespect your man.
I like that. Okay.
Good. That's so good. So y'all, we're gonna have to continue this. This is gonna end up being a series. Ladies, if you have a question, because we got about 10 minutes and we're gonna close it out. If you have a question, put it in the chat, or if you raise your hand, I can see you, I think. Put it in the chat if you can. Or if you have a comment about the men, what they've said, anything, takeaways that stuck out, let us know. Oh, y'all can talk now. Don't think y'all can't talk.
Oh, they're not asking questions, Angela?
Wait,
No,
look,
they're not asking questions.
Now's the time, man. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Don't run
Okay,
up with me in the
please,
store. Don't
somebody
ask me
said-
no question in Target and you on the Zoom.
Nico, one said, we heard what men don't want to hear. What do they want to hear from women?
I believe in you. You can do it. We can make it.
We got this.
We. Yeah.
Hey, we got
We.
Yeah.
we, right? We, not I, but we.
Yeah.
And we can make it work because we're willing to put in the necessary work.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, we can
You
make
can't get paid if you don't work. Let's work on this relationship. And we both end up getting that bag. That's what's important.
There you go. There you go. Yes.
Or if we don't get the bag, we still love each other. I mean, love is not premised on the bag.
The bag I was talking about was the relationship itself.
Yeah. That's not going to sustain you.
Somebody
Like
said,
I said before, as millionaires get divorced, I have represented people with a hell of a lot of money. They get divorced.
It's not the answer.
That's
Exactly.
not love.
Yeah.
That's right. That's not the answer.
somebody said, can we have an open discussion with both sides? We can, Natalie,
But not yet.
however, but not yet, because
Not yet.
women have been talking. We've been talking, but we have not heard what men are saying. We think we know what they want. We think women, we talk all the time. We share what we want, what our needs are. And one of the things we're really good at, we're masquerading our wants as needs.
Stop it.
Women, we masquerade our wants as needs. And there is a difference, because we got to get clear about what's true for us as women. And like the men they've been muted because of the noise that's been out there about us. And y'all throw around words like deadbeat dads, narcissists, he's violent, and he's this and he's that. And I think we've painted a narrative of men that's not necessarily true. And there are more that are like these men that are not. And so if you are continually attracting the guys that are not, then you got to look at what you're projecting, because only what you're not given in any situation is what's missing. That's law. Remember, your life worked to the extent that you align them with the spiritual, natural, and universal laws that governs life. Your thoughts on women who choose therapy or want to have couples therapy? How does it make you feel if a woman wants you to participate in individual therapy?
That's great.
That's great.
That's great.
Are
She
y'all
really wants it. A lot of times women want therapy when they think they finna get you told off.
Mhm.
But the therapy for real, once you get in there, is going to be both of the dysfunctionalities and where both need to heal. So oftentimes a secure man is saying, why don't you talk to somebody? So if you say, well, why can't we? Well, let's do it, but don't trip when I tell them what my problem is.
In the therapy, yeah, and you leave therapy mad, yeah.
Mhm,
I think Angela, I would say it depends on the relationship.
Mhm.
And the man knows what relationship that they're in with the person that they're in with. And so if the man is being attacked or feel like he's not being heard and he's already been muted, and it's just another person to go ahead and reinforce that, then the man is not probably going to participate. If the man feel like he's being heard and respected and has engagement in the conversation and relationship, then they're probably going to say yes to that therapy. But it really depends on, so I don't want you to measure it off of how I show up. I want you to measure it up what you got going at your own location.
That's good.
So if you're already dominating the conversation, not really hearing, your sex is bad, your money's bad, your conversation at home is bad, therapy is probably not going to work. You got to fix some stuff at home first.
Yeah, I just want to add, Angela, I want to say this, and on point
The
with
sex
that.
is bad.
I'm trying to get as far away from that.
He said it with a command face, though. He said it with the first sergeant face.
Yeah. I want to say that a lot of times, I can't speak for other men, but I'm going to tell these sisters on this call, a lot of times we realize you operating in panic.
Mhm.
We realize you operating in trauma.
Mhm.
You know, we know that's a space where that you're coming from, you know, and so a willingness to go in therapy and counseling is a good thing, but go with honesty.
Yeah.
You know,
Somebody
go with honesty. If we go into therapy and you still going to cover up the origin of all of your, like he said, dysfunctionalities, then you ain't doing nothing but wasting my time.
Yeah.
And a lot of men discern that and choose not to go.
Right. If you ain't real
So
with
you
me,
gotta go in honesty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And
okay,
and
go ahead.
well, I just want to say that, and I'm gonna say some real serious things. I don't want to trigger anybody, but if you have been the victim of an assault when you were a child, or the victim of an assault when you were in college, or you've been the victim of date rape, and you have concealed that.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, let's go to therapy, are you going to be honest enough
Bring that
to
out.
put that out on the table so your husband, your boyfriend, whoever, can understand what the hell going on with you?
Mhm.
You know?
Respect.
And maybe if somebody understands what's going on with you, they will tolerate you.
They can cover. They can cover.
Or they
Yeah,
can be-
I mean,
yeah,
I
they
can
can
work
get-
with you if I know you're trying to heal.
Right,
But
right.
if you just out there trying to hurt because you're not healed, you got to step.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you got to go.
Okay, folks. So why do men not share with women and result to shutting down when it is revealed that they are not being forthcoming with their woman and are called on it? So
We already answered that. Or did
yeah,
we?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we answered. So what I'm gonna do next time, I'm gonna get questions from the women. And the next set of questions will come from the women. But I need y'all to hear, because that question that I just read, they didn't really hear. They didn't really hear, or they would have understood that.
I think it was a different question, Mom. I think she was trying to say, and you can correct me, whoever said it, was basically saying when they're called, like if they got us, they feel like they got us cornered, and they call our stuff, and then
Then why do you shut down?
I
Because
think
you
that
got us in a corner.
because I think he's smart. That's a smart thing to do. See, the gentleman said earlier that we're not that complicated.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? We're not that complicated. It's an insane person who's yelling, cussing you out, knowing they dead wrong, or knowing you got what's saying. That's an insane person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so if he's like, you got him, and he shut down, that's the time for you to go ahead and give him whatever you want to give him. Because he's there, he stopped. He ain't playing no game, nothing. He there to take it all in now.
Yeah,
You know?
in other words, he's like, you got me, and I used to see, my boys used to do that. When I get them, they just sit there and say this. That's like, you got me, ain't nothing else to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's just smart. I mean, you don't want him to be losing his mind and all that. And then again, we don't respond like you guys respond. And we don't expect you guys to do what we do, but it's always expected for us to move the way you guys move. You know, we're going to take it and we do compartmentalize. We don't spend it all.
We process too, though.
We got to process that thing, how to move next. You know, am I going out to go get the flowers? You know?
Yeah.
What am I doing next? I got to choose this next word and this next move carefully, you know? But the problem is the bulldozing. You can't bulldoze and make him give you something that he's not ready to give you. That's a response. That's energy. That's anything. He's like, I'm here. But the funny thing is, sisters, is that's your time.
Mm-hmm.
Because once he start talking with that big 6 foot, if he's that person, that voice and everything like that, you might get drowned out. He's there waiting to take whatever you're willing to give him.
Yeah.
I say it like this. If you stand up to a real man, woman, if you stand up to a real man, when you stand up face to face, like you trying to get in there like that, well, most men, at least I will speak for me, I'm not gay. And so if a Negro is standing in front of me, I will say, let me know when my wife come back and I'll talk to her, because this person right here is an imposter and I don't get down like that. So if you're going to stand to me toe to toe, you could be dead right, but you're going to be dead wrong. Yeah. Because I can't hear it. And so all that, all that vibroso and all that testosterone that you're supposed to have estrogen for, and you trying to stand up like you bucking like you're going to lose, even though you might be dead right. Somebody said it. You said it. Do you want to be right, or do you want to do what it takes to get it right?
Right.
I like that. I stole that one too. So
you want to be right, or you want to make things right. That's
stolen.
But fellas, this has been good. I've learned a lot. I've heard a lot, but a lot of it y'all already taught me. So it's been good. Last words, closing words, just 2 minutes with everybody. If we do this again, I'm going to get the questions from the women, and there'll be questions that they've posed, and because then maybe we'll have those women ask the question so we can hear them when they ask. I appreciate you, really appreciate you coming. Ladies, I appreciate you coming and hanging with us. We've got quite a few women on. So Ron, we'll start with you. Any quick 2-minute closing remarks? you have to say?
Yeah, Angela, and to everyone that's listening, like we really want to get this right. Men don't want to be by themselves. We weren't designed to be by ourselves. We just wanted to be healthy. We wanted to be fun. Want to be enjoyable. We want to be able to grow together, do things together. And so it's not like we're really trying to do it by ourselves. But we also want to be able to trust the person that we're with, that no matter what it is, who we are, that you can help make us better. The man that I know is really good. There's a woman somewhere beside them helping them be great. So we need you, and we can't do it by ourselves.
Good. Kevin?
I just want to say, don't tell men, especially black men, they're not enough. Don't lead with that. I mean, there's no purpose for that. Where you go from there? I mean, if you're sincere, if that's what you're doing, then you do that and then get the hell on. You know, let the people who want to be builders build something. Don't come out here being a destroyer and then posing like you're trying to build with somebody. So we talked about respect. To me, that's the thing, Angela. And I'm just close with that. I got a lot to say, but I'm gonna close with that because I hear that a lot. You telling people that they're not enough. That doesn't make you look better. That just makes you look bitter.
Wow.
You know?
That's good. That's good. Tommy?
Like I said, I would say a woman needs to deal with what is and be honest with themselves. Deal with what is and respect what you have in whatever position that you're at and whatever status you have. Respect it, because if you respect it, you'll know how to exist with it among and with your man.
Thank you. Good. Thank you. Andre?
He that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. But the question is, why does he need favor? A man needs favor to keep finding his wife in the various phases. When he first meets her, she's in her 20s. She generally wants stuff. In her 30s, she starts saying, what about me? In her 40s, she starts saying, what about us? In her 50s, she's make up her mind to do it alone if she has to. Men sometimes get stuck in our 20s or in the mentality of providing stuff. Women also require that we provide us to them. And so you need a grace and a favor for her to keep finding her in her phases. And so we have to grow up as well. It's not just a woman problem, it's a man problem too, because a lot of us have what I call arrested development. We get stuck. And so we've got to grow in our emotional intelligence as well. So thank you for shows like this and opportunities like this for us to even be able to voice and build from each other. To every man that's on here, I appreciate you and thank you that I could share with you guys as well. So thank you, Angela.
You too.
David?
Well, first of all, across the board, thanks everyone for coming out. And fellas, good to see some of you again. I see some faces I haven't seen and shared vibrations with in quite a while. Ladies, just take this and hold it dear. Knowledge is power. Okay, knowledge is power, and I hope that you've gotten enough from this particular episode to think a little bit deeper or to think from a different perspective. Because as the gentleman said earlier, men are simple. In order to foster a good relationship, one must be able first to relate, okay, to each other, and and it doesn't take a lot to do that. Golden rule applies: treat people the way you want to be treated. All right, and we can solve whatever problems that we have together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gerard.
Fellas, I appreciate y'all. Mama, I appreciate you as well. To the ladies, I would say for whether it's your current situation or a future situation, come to the table with an open mind and an open heart. Understand that you and your significant other may be coming from different worlds. There's two different worlds that are colliding. There's two different dynamics, family dynamics. Y'all have different morals. And if you understand that, you can figure out how to exist and when those two worlds collide together. And I would also say to understand that sacrificing and compromising comes from both ends.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Jamar, Jay.
fellas, good to see some of you guys I call friends, and good to meet some of the brothers I'm just meeting now. Mama, thank you so much for having me on. My ladies, I just want you guys to know that we love you. We love you, we love you, we love you. But just as important, we love you, we need you. Right now, they're trying to put us against each other.
Right.
I want you to open your eyes and understand that we are better together. We're way more better together than we ever will be apart. Just as much as they hate us, they hate you. And so if they're trying to tear us down, they're not caring about how that's going to affect you, how it's going to affect our babies. So take that in consideration while you're moving forward, while you're making your decisions and how you navigate in the space of your relationship or future relationship. But just know that we would rather be with you than without you. And that's what we're looking for. And so if nobody told you that before, take it from me. And I think these other brothers would say the same thing. We love you. We need you. We honor you. We just want you to honor us as well.
That's good. Oh, that's so good. That's good. That's good. Ladies, y'all hear that? They want you. They do. They need you. And they need you to need them. And so it's the collective. It's the collective. And so thank you so much for being here. Ladies, be sure to join me every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for an Awaken Love TV. And you go to anawakenlove.com, anawakenlove.com, and be sure to join us. Go to my website, AngelaCarrPatterson.com, AngelaCarrPatterson.com. I have a free program for you, a 7-day Awaken Your Life Challenge. You need to take that course. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. If you want to be a part of my Facebook community, Fame Women, I'm teaching you how to become a feminine, awakened, mature, evolved woman. You can find Fame Woman on Facebook. I am committed to us winning when it comes to our relationships. My grandchildren need this to work. We got to demonstrate this for them, or y'all, the Black family will cease to exist as we once known it. And that, my friends, is disaster for us. And we need our men. We need to hold them up. We need to, y'all think we need that, they need us. They need us. They need to know that when they feel like they're gonna fall, that we got their back. There's enough out there tearing them up. We're suffering from Black fatigue. They're suffering from Black fatigue. And I promise you, only women know how to nurture and to build up and to edify. How do I know? I see you do it with your kids. And the same thing that they need, your man need that too. And he needs to know that he's the center of your universe. And there's nothing wrong with that, because when you make him feel that way, let me tell you, he gonna give it to you. I promise you. Ron said, love us, open heart with us, value us, and encourage us. Thank y'all so much, guys, for being here. Y'all know I love y'all from my soul. I love you. So thank you. I'm so fortunate to have y'all and so many other brothers just like you. Ladies, we appreciate you. Father, we thank you, we praise you, we glorify, we magnify you, that you would set, that much will come from this, that the aroma, the sweet aroma that has come through this gathering, that will continue to go forth and continue to live in us and remind us. Holy Spirit, bring us in remembrance of what was said today. And not only will we think about it, but we'll begin to actualize it in our lives. Go to your social media and hashtag He Said, and let us know what you gain from this. Hashtag He Said, tag me on it, and let people know that this was worth it. Thank y'all so much. I love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.